The Cheating Death podcast is a satirical program containing objective information about anything and everything under the sun. We are not political, nor are we religious. We are analytical and perhaps a bit prodigious. The weather provides one an insight into exactly how the soul can survive the most tumultuous of conditions. And you know exactly how to take part in that, dear listener, because you are listening to the Cheating Death podcast. On today's episode of the Cheating Death podcast, we provide insight on a bit and piece of the fraction of what Antarctica's purpose is. Why is it so clandestine? What types of operations have been carried out there over the years? And what is it exactly they are hiding from us? We also provide you with an all-new Annihilation Announcement, an all-new joke of the episode, and of course, dear listeners, we provide you with our top 5 list of our favorite winter activities. We'd also like to request that you follow each and every single one of our pinned profile post members, as well as each and every single comedian, actor, professional powerlifter, and all of our directors and associate producers at the links in the episodes and in the podcast description. Please like, share, and subscribe in youtube.com/@Cleric of Chaos, as we are trying to reach 100 subscribers before the end of the summer. And of course, dear listeners, give Instagram.com/Backroom Comedy Club a follow for shows 5 nights a week. Follow all the legendary comedians, including but not limited to Darren Burke, Alex Burke, Damon Charles, James McKenzie, and much, much more. So, dear listeners, looking into the glass of the window fogged upon a midnight eve, we provide you with an opportunity to see that you know full well what it is time to do. Grab yourself an iced coffee, put your feet up, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. For millennia, dear listeners, we have provided an opportunity for our species to learn, to change, to grow, to identify the specific points of contention that keep us from trying to reach our greatest potential. Why is it that throughout the course of time, we as a species have done every single possible thing that we could possibly do to work together, to evolve, to grow, to change, to maneuver within the system? And yet, throughout all of the periods of time, there has always been a small group of humans in whom have decided that they get to play God and choose each and every single worthy person of a particular position, of a resource, or of a geographic settlement. We are a very confusing, perplexing, and conniving species as a grand scale. There are good people everywhere you go. However, you must remember that given the time and the circumstances that we all find ourselves dwelling within at different points of history, there will always be self-serving individuals. There will always be people in whom are looking to step on others to reach their goals. It is in times like these that it is imperative for us to understand that we can achieve our goals and our dreams specifically and solely based upon the predication of exactly how it is that we wish to move forward, how we wish to climb. We do not have to be stepping on the souls and the dreams of other people in order to make our very wishes come true. All that is required is that we remain resilient, we remain vigilant, and we focus on the task at hand. That particular task, dear listeners, changes day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. However, do we give ourselves the grace, the patience, the time to truly and fully grow? Or are we almost always rushing into situations that provide us with nothing but obstacles, areas of opportunity, and choices that we are forced to make, given the current circumstances of our situations? The answer to that particular conundrum is both yes and no. For you see, when we exhibit patience, specifically within our own lives and in our own worlds, what we are doing as people is we are not simply allowing mediocrity to take hold. We are biding our time, and we are hiding our strength. We must ask ourselves exactly what we need to do to move forward in a world where it is constantly being put into question, where we are constantly being put to the test each and every single day, and in many conceivable ways. How we decide to climb the mountain speaks volumes of our characters. If we choose to put our feet on the heads of others in order to be able to reach that platform as they fall to their deaths, is ultimately an indication of malice, avarice, and pure egocentric evil. We as a species need to do better when it comes to being able to support our friends, our family, our colleagues, our familial individuals in whom we have decided are no longer just friends but blood themselves. We know that every single element of life is precious. However, we must start to look in the mirror and understand that we ourselves are precious gemstones, individuals in whom won a galactic lottery and are now facing the challenges that come with it. Do not worry, dear listener. You are very capable, and you shall overcome your darkest tragedies. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this, dear listeners, of course, has been your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, 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 meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag und eine gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisende und deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Vernichter, keine Künstler und deine Schauspieler. Und ich bin es rein, ist mein Herz gebrochen. Und ich bin bereit, und heute ist ein schöner Tag. Dear listeners, today we hope that this reception is not met with a chilly response, but we today are going to discuss what the purpose of Antarctica is. Yes, dear listeners, the continent you may have heard about that is situated at the bottom of the earth. However, the reasons behind the current inhabitation by only 7 territorial claims as well as scientific research have largely been kept clandestine. the primary purposes for the Antarctic continent have grown in terms of not only the prestige in which it requires to be a scientist upon the continent. However, there are also significant resource reasons as to why the clandestine information has been kept almost top secret to this day. When we hear the word Antarctica, dear listeners, what is one of the first things that comes to mind? Continent, cold, calamity, creativity? More often than not, the first thing that we think of is, oh, that ice continent that doesn't really have any purpose and is colder than most places on the earth. Well, dear listener, you are right, for it is indeed a very cold place, an approximate 14,200,000 kilometers. You look at that space and size of the 14,200,000 kilometers squared, and you identify that it is 5.5 million square miles of geography. We look at the overall reasons as to why it is indeed as clandestine as it is. However, we must see that it is predominantly due to McMurdo Station, as well as other research stations that have been set up permanently in Antarctica. Countries involved in research in Antarctica have been included the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Australia, France, Chile, and Argentina, Japan, Italy, South Africa, Russia, South Korea, Germany, New Zealand, Spain, Norway, South Korea, much, much more. There are approximately other countries within the Amundsen-Scott South Pole, the Arturo Plat, the Berhati, Bellinghausen, the Casey, the Concordia, the Davis, the Dumont d'Urville, the Gars, the King's Jong, the Maitri, the McMurdo, the Neumayer, as well as the Orchitis, and much, many more research stations that are associated and involved with research at the Antarctic continent. Dear listeners, there is a significant reason as to why so many different countries are interested and intrigued by the research that is being completed within Antarctica itself. For you see, Antarctica holds approximately 70% of the global's world resources of fresh water within its land itself. There is a lot of debate and division as per the continent itself. The Antarctic Treaty specifically points out exactly how it is to be distributed and laid out specifically in points of geographic governance. We must understand that the original 12 countries in whom were active from 1957 through 1958 are the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, the United States, Belgium, Norway, Austria, New Zealand, South Africa, France, and Chile, as well as Argentina. The reason these countries made the decision to sign the Antarctic Treaty and operate within a research paradigm is due to the global entities and resources in which the continent provides. And note that currently where we stand, there are approximately 58 parties that are a part of the Antarctic Treaty system. They hold bilateral treaties, exchanges of notes, agreements on cooperative enforcement of fisheries laws, and much more. But one of the most significant and most clandestine operations to be held in Antarctica was Operation High Jump, sent by Admiral Richard Byrd. The operation specifically, dear listeners, was required to search the continent for any resources, for anyone to see exactly just what was possible within the Navy Antarctic Developments Program, otherwise known as Task Force 68, to see exactly what was required to utilize the continent in a very constructive manner. During the year 1947 through 1948, this took place beginning in its very infancy on the 26th of August 1946. We look at the reason behind the nature that Task Force 68 needed approximately 4,700 men, 33 aircraft and 13 to 14 different ships. The objective, the mission, the reason was to locate the Ross Ice Shelf and to see exactly how it could be utilized for logistics, hydrographic, meteorological claims that were included, but not limited to, resource acquisition, feasibility of the island itself, wide area photographic research, supplementary tasks that would be included, but not limited to, Operation Merho, Operation Migration, and Operation Nanook, one of the smaller operations, but also one of the most important ones. During this particular mission, it was noted that Sir Richard Byrd himself had experienced what were called the Hollow Earth Realms, in which he was taken by an unknown entity to a world that was lush with green forests, and told that one of the reasons why nuclear catastrophe had been avoided on a large scale is due to the influences as well as the energies in which the south of Antarctica within this proverbial hollow earth was providing. The hollow earth conspiracy in and of itself is a very giant iceberg to crack, and ultimately may indeed get its own episode. But, dear listeners, the primary purpose behind Antarctica itself is research, is understanding that within the countries in whom are providing their scientific expertise at this particular continent are doing so in order to ensure that the future of Earthrealm is not only safe, but also largely accessible to the modern man. The research on Antarctica will help those in the coldest of areas be able to seek another day, and in order to find themselves a way to specify and identify within themselves how to best meet the conditions of the cold. However, dear listener, there's still a lot more information about Antarctica that should and could be stated. However, this program is only willing to provide what is considered to be the objective, transparent, and direct truth. Will there be another follow-up episode on Antarctica? We shall see, dear listeners. But until then, thank you for tuning in today. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. At the top of today's episode, we promised you another list of the top 5 best snow activities to participate in for when that season comes upon us. Coming in at number 5, we have snowball fights. Coming in at number 4, we have ice skating. Coming in at number 3, we have grabbing a hot chocolate. Coming in at number 2, we have tobogganing. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 1, a little bit biased we are as per one of our favorite activities, but it is snowboarding. What are your top 5 favorite snow activities? Let us know in the comments below or email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. There's been a lot of rumor as to why Frosty the Snowman decided to come to life, and as to how and why he developed depression in the latter form of his existence. However, it remains clear. When one looks at his smartphone, it was quite clear he was sad because he was not invited to the snowball. For years, decades, Antarctica has been a bit of a pariah in the scientific community for the fact of how exclusive its research capabilities and approvals have been, for it is duly noted that there are quite a few individuals, both of the scientific persuasion as well as the civilian casualty situation as well, that wish to speak upon the volumes of knowledge they have of Antarctica. However, dear listener, this is not something that is capable for most people to be able to move forward and to be able to provide their insight upon. For Antarctica is the most restricted place on the planet to civilians, and most people believe it is due to a clandestine nature, one that is hiding a very ominous, very direct, and a very concerning truth. There are many individuals in whom will research the information that is available to them, and they will provide themselves an opportunity to see for themselves little bits and pieces of what the true nature of Antarctica is. However, The information that is brought before us has obviously been put through several filters so as to ensure that the individuals in question do not go too far into the rabbit hole. We always ask ourselves questions, give ourselves answers that may not necessarily be applicable to the situation, but with Antarctica, it is absolutely still a mysterious realm, only known to those in whom are constantly researching, giving insight, and working with other countries within the continent itself to provide a further scientific perspective into the nature of the beast and to identify exactly what is required in order for them to see what can be made use of this vast landmass. We see for ourselves exactly where it dwells on the globe, but do any of us really understand the extent to which the secrecy has been kept from us? The answer is no. There are a lot of bits of information pertaining to Antarctica that could take eons to divulge and explain, and throughout the point of this program, in which we identified some specific areas of opportunity, both in government as well as in clandestine military operations, we only know a bit of the puzzle, but that, dear listeners, is part of the fun. Until next time, thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nacht and Leben, CRDVC, Cleric of Chaos, and where you can find all podcasts on all platforms. If you'd like to support the program, you may do so by buying merchandise, purchasing a cameo, buying us a coffee, or much, much more. Links in the episodes in the podcast description. Please be sure to follow Damon Charles, comedian extraordinaire, at the information located in the pinned profile post in the episodes and podcast description. Follow legendary comic Darren Burke, outstanding sensational up-and-comer Alex Burke, and Instagram.com/Backroom Comedy Club for shows 5 nights a week at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Backroom Comedy Club is located at 814 Bloor Street West in the bottom quarter, where you will find the most hilarious and most insightful as well as enlightening entertainment this side of the hemisphere. We are also suggesting and requesting that you follow each and every single one of our directors and producers of the pinned profile post in the episodes and in the podcast description. We'd like to thank Dundas Shawarma at 768 Dundas Street West for providing some of the best shawarma and pizza this side of the city, as well as W Burger Bar at 10 College Street in Toronto, Ontario, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., deals from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. daily, as well as $9.99 fish bowls and $6.99 frozen cocktails and $2.25 PBR all day long. Dear listeners, if you or anyone you know are experiencing a gambling abuse, substance withdrawal, or an emergency calamity, please contact one of the telephone numbers listed in the episodes and podcast description as well. Be sure that if you are in danger, that you are taking care of yourself. And if you are looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center, for they are in dire need of your support. And please visit yummypets.com/voice. Click the button every day for animals to receive an opportunity at 330 pounds of free kibble as well. We all understand, dear listener, that life is not an easy road, nor is it a marathon that we have an answer to. All that matters is that you do your best and try your hardest. And remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.